Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. And today I want to address a word that I see getting tossed around a lot more. I may have addressed this before on the channel, but I definitely want to, if I did, I definitely want to jump back into it or revisit it. And if I haven't gotten into it before, then like I said, it's definitely something that I feel like addressing right now because I see it very often when it comes to a lot of different content that I view, whether it's through social media, certain discussions, certain discussion groups that I might get into with certain people that I know inside different social circles. The concept of emotional sensitivity or emotional intelligence, and how I feel that it's kind of used. I don't want to say used wrong, but it becomes a tool to protect or defend reckless behavior. Um, and we're going to get into that. So, a lot of people will push that word around. A lot of times, you probably have more women saying it than more men because kind of I noticed that a lot of men they don't expect to. They know they can't be as emotional. They can't be all over the place. I mean, this is a common thing. So I'm not going to dive into the fact that men are usually less emotional, a little more logical, and women are more emotional. But a lot of times it's being thrown around right now in this society in this kind of broken social or even in the dating realm, but we'll just call it a social dynamic that's been going on in terms of whether it's friendships, whether it's anything, but where a lot of people have this putting their own weight on others, and obviously we all know the social market in general is just kind of in a crazy place right now. But this concept of emotional sensitivity or emotional intelligence is usually thrown around as a way to say you should be okay with absorbing my emotional damage or my emotional influxes. Like I can go up and down, and you should be ready to handle that. You should be ready to accept it. You should be ready to take it and understand it and forgive me for it or be okay with it. And that in itself becomes a problem with this word. I feel that what happens is it ends up almost demonizing this word because when logical people hear it, I'm not going to say when men hear it, because you could have the reverse where there's an emotional man and a logical woman. That's not normally the case, but I'm not going to exclude that from here. When you have a logical person who hears that, what they're hearing is that someone else who is emotional is wanting to be able to just be emotional and say, you got to accept it. A lot of times you have a dynamic where logical and emotional people will get together, or whether in the dating world, friendships, whatever the case is, and the emotional person leans on the logical person. When two emotional people have a kind of social dynamic, it ends up being very toxic, and it ends up being back and forth. And though sometimes the emotional people will enjoy that for the excitement of it, they also then will surround themselves around a lot of logical people who then can pick up the slack in that kind of emotional dynamic. Sometimes they don't expect a lot from having an emotional relationship with someone, meaning like they're an emotional person, you guys link together. Whenever they're in a relationship or some kind of dynamic with someone who's logical, like I said, that's when they throw around the words emotional sensitivity or emotional intelligence. People should be using this phrase. They shouldn't even really be using the phrase, I would say, in my opinion. But if you're going to use it, you should be saying not how you expect someone else to be, but what you are yourself. You should be presenting to everyone else, I am emotional. I am emotionally intelligent, and I will be aware of your feelings. I will be aware of your emotions. I will be willing to listen to and figure out any kind of differences that we have in that regard. That should be the mentality of when you're using those words, is to say, what can I bring to you? Not so much what I'm expecting of you to lean on me. Because a lot of times these days, people present themselves as a bill. I use that as this kind of generic term, but meaning it doesn't have to necessarily be financially, but it means that I am a weight to you. I am something that negates from your life, and I'm presenting myself to you in a way that is a bill. I want to take from your life in some way, some capacity, whether it's emotional, financially, mentally, someone to lean on, whatever the case is, space wise, whatever it is. But I'm looking to lean on you. I'm looking to be a bill, for lack of a better term. I'm looking to be a bill in your life. Do you want to accept this? Not even, it's almost like saying you should want to accept this. And that's essentially, a lot of people don't understand, is that a lot of people nowadays present themselves in a way that they're presenting themselves as a bill and saying you should want this, you should want to take this bill on. Why? Because I'm a great bill. And it makes no sense, but they don't see it like that because they don't word it like that. But the person receiving it, and a lot of times now in the modern day, a lot of people, especially men, are starting to realize that a lot of people that are presented to them, mostly females in this case, is we're getting into, so let's just straight up just say it, it becomes being presented as a bill. And that's a problem, because when you are shopping around in the market, whether it's a relationship or even just a friendship, you're supposed to be selling yourself. You're supposed to be presenting yourself with all the positives that you bring to the table, not so much in this aspect like I'm a trophy and I am a bill for you to have to take this load. So, though I kind of expanded and stretched into a realm that made it a lot more thick, but returning back to emotional intelligence, I don't like that word. I think it's a very toxic concept because it's not used in a proper way of selling yourself to somebody for something positive that you understand them. It's more so I want them to be able to handle the weight of me being all over the place emotionally. And I think that that creates this very toxic concept with that statement. And I see it for what it is. And I just wanted to put that out there. And I think a lot of people probably can relate to that. Put in the comments if you relate to that. You see that word being tossed around. You view it for the way I defined it, as opposed to something positive that maybe it should be, but it's not, because it's being presented as a bill and not as what I can do for you. So just put that in the comments. What are your thoughts on that word? And everybody stay safe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.